Long ago, in the beautiful mountainous countryside of Japan, there was a mother who had 3 sons. They lived together in a small wooden house near the forest. One day, the mother became very sick, so she called her oldest son to her, and she said, "Please go and get me some pears from the high mountains. Surely they will help me to regain my health." The oldest son agreed to go and said goodbye to his mother. Now, on the way, he met an old woman. She was sitting on a stump, and she held out a wooden bowl and said, "I'm so thirsty, please bring me some water." But the boy hardly looked at the old woman, saying, "I'm going to pick mountain pears for my mother." The old woman continued, "If you listen to the forest, it will tell you which way to go." But the boy scoffed at her and went on his way. Soon he came to 3 branching paths, and the bamboo leaves on the middle path whispered, "This way, this way." But the boy did not believe the old woman's words, and he walked down the path to the left. A crow sitting in the tree cried out, "Not that way, not that way." But still he went on. The autumn winds blew and said, "You're going the wrong way," but the forest's warning only fell on deaf ears. And then the mountains opened, and the boy saw many pears hanging from the trees beside a beautiful lake. He ran to one of the trees and he climbed up. When he was near the top, he began to pick the pears, but his shadow fell on the surface of the lake. And this woke the guardian, Nushi, who rose up out of its nest, soared over to the pear tree, and pulled the boy down into the dark waters below. Now, when the first son did not return, the mother asked her second son to go and search for his brother, and bring her the mountain pears. The second son was very glad to go. On his way, he said goodbye to his mother, and then he met the same old woman sitting on the stump. Again, she held out her wooden bowl and asked for water. "I'm in a hurry to find my brother and the mountain pears," the second son shouted at her. "If you listen, you will hear the forest speaking to you," the old woman said. But it was no use. The second son raced past her in a great hurry. Now when he reached the branching paths, the bamboo leaves in the middle whispered, "This way, this way." But in his haste, the boy had not heard what the old woman had said, and he raced down the wrong path. A crow sitting in the tree called out, "Not that way, not that way." But still he went on. The autumn winds blew and said, "You're going the wrong way." But the boy was long gone. And then the mountains opened once again. And he saw many pears hanging from a tree beside a beautiful blue lake. "Ah, I found the mountain pears," shouted the boy as he climbed the nearest tree. But his shadow began to fall onto the surface of the lake, awakening its guardian, Nushi. Out of its depths he rose. He soared over to the pear tree and flew down to the second son. Now, when the second son did not return home, it was the third and youngest son's turn to go. Saburo was his name. He was a happy boy who loved animals. bunnies were often by his side, but today they had to stay home. Be careful, begged his mother. Please find your brothers and don't forget to bring me some pears. Now on his way, Saburo met the same woman sitting on the stump, and she held out her wooden bowl again and said, "Please bring me some water from the stream. I'm very thirsty." Saburo helped the old woman. And then she asked him where he was going. "Oh, I'm searching for my 2 lost brothers," he said, "and my mother is sick, and she needs to eat some mountain pears." Now the old woman told him about the 3 paths ahead and how the forest will speak to him. "Be sure to take the path where the bamboo leaves are whispering to you, and keep listening as you walk. If you do, you will find your brothers and the mountain pears." Then the old woman gave Saburo a very special sword and her wooden bowl. He hung them from his shoulder, and thanking her kindly, he started on his way. Soon Saburo came to the 3 branching paths. The bamboo trees in the middle whispered, "This way, this way." Saburo remembered the old woman's words, and he went down the middle path. The crow called from the trees, saying, "This way, this way." The autumn winds blew and said, "You're going the right way." Saburo heard the forest speaking, and he knew that he was on the right path. And then the mountains opened, and Saburo found an orchard with many pears hanging from the trees, and it sounded as if they were singing to him. Pear trees in the east and west, pear trees in the north, all cast shadows, none are safe. Climb the pear trees in the south. Saburo understood their song, and he climbed the branches in the south. And then he began picking many pears. When he had gathered all he could carry, he started back down the tree. But by mistake, a little bit of his shadow fell on the surface of the lake, awakening Numa no Nushi. The dragon soared over to Saburo's tree, and Saburo had already drawn his sword. And with one mighty stroke, he conquered Numa no Nushi, fell to the earth below. Saburo scrambled down the tree, and then he thought that he could hear his brothers' voices calling to him, saying, He ran to where the dragon lay and cut open its belly, and out tumbled his 2 brothers. Oh, they were so glad to get out of there. And then they hugged each other and gathered as many mountain pears as they could carry. And then they began their long journey home. As they descended the mountains and into the forest, the winds and the birds and the trees all seemed to be making music for them. At last, they came back to the stump. But the old woman was gone. Saburo left her some pears, and then everyone returned home. Their mother was so happy to see her son safe at home again. She thanked them all, especially Saburo, after she had heard his amazing tale. She ate the mountain pears for many days, and her health was restored.
You never leave my